Dear ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our pre-conference podcast of Future Bridge. My name is Olga, and I'm happy today to welcome you to a podcast dedicated to Mining for Zero Forum, which will happen in Barcelona this November. Well, I'm very happy and very excited to welcome my guest today. It's Ruben Claessens of Carmeuse. Ruben, welcome. Hello.
Hello, welcome. Thank you for the invitation. Super excited to be here.
I have so many questions to you. I hope to get some answers. And the very first one, I wanted to ask you if you would be able to tell us more about your background and how actually did you end up at Carmeuse?
Yeah, no, of course. So actually, I'm a civil engineer by training, and my experience, I was raised as a project manager, more in the energy industry, so not kind of the core activity of Carmeuse. But last year, however, I got the opportunity to join the mining industry through a Belgian government initiative called the Prince Albert Fund. It's kind of initiative that gives young potentials the opportunity of building international experience by cultivating their ambition and drive and owning responsibility in a Belgian company. And since I've always been fascinating about new technologies, how to share data, how to work efficiently together using data and streaming data analytics, this digital innovation project in Carmeuse was an immediate fit for me. So I chose Carmeuse as my mission for the Prince Albert Fund and went on a 1-year amazing adventure that it has been up until now. So although my mining experience is limited, I've used the traineeship to absorb as much knowledge as possible during that year and give my company a fresh perspective on the challenges of my colleagues and how to bring digital solutions to solve their and support the day-to-day job. Yeah.
Great. Thank you for your reply here. My next question to you is, you're going to be presenting about data fabric layers at the event. And why are you actually presenting this topic?
Well, my motto has always been keep it simple and get the basics right. So many mining companies are expanding their ecosystem of digital solutions, tackling business use cases one by one, as they should. It's best practice. However, creating these different solutions with different applications, different tools, creates a spider web of point-to-point integrations that scale poorly, are difficult to manage. You have the risk of losing oversight. And the concept of the data fabric layer, yeah, should kind of resolve that. It standardizes the data which these applications rely on. It's streamlining data management and making it possible that if you have a solution in one side of your operations, you can scale it rapidly. So when you think about the concept of a data fabric layer, it's actually a prerequisite. It's kind of the base layer for all your major digital initiatives in the company. So back to my motto, I keep it simple and get the basics right. If you get that base layer right, you should find yourself with a data highway where you can just plug in and play and keep it simple.
And for those who don't know, like me, likewise, would you be able to tell us what is data fabric layer exactly?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, I brushed upon it a bit in the previous question, but the data fabric layer is much more a concept, an architecture, a set of data services that provide consistent capabilities across multiple endpoints, spanning in a hybrid cloud environment or even a multi-cloud environment. It makes sure that you can combine each one of your data silos, data islands, to standardize data management, aggregation, and contextualization. Sorry. So it continuously discovers distinct business relevant connections between all your available data points, and by identifying and connecting data from sources and applications. So you can think about it as a broker. You have a certain customer within your organization, someone who needs data, and he asks then a question to your data fabric layer. I need information on a whole truck on a site all around the world on their efficiency, and then the data fabric layer will automatically look for the source and give you the solution. So it's a one source of truth information layer, if you spell it correctly. Yeah.
And why is actually a data fabric layer necessary in mining?
Yeah. So I think mining 4.0 is a great terminology, and we've been working on it a couple of years now with development of hybrid cloud environments, of the use of artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, um, edge and cloud computing. So all these applications, all these developments have led to an exponential growth of big data. So creating a very complex environment for enterprises to manage. So it's ever growing, it's becoming intertwined with every possible solutions we have. So this made the unification and the governance of data environment an increasing priority. So even in my company, it's almost top level of priority. Okay, we have a lot of solutions, but we need to clean it, streamline it, and make sure that it works properly throughout the company. So these challenges, data silos, security risks, bottlenecks on decision making are a clear request for finding a solution like data fabric layer, and that's why we need it.
Thank you. And you started to mention some of the challenges. What are actually other challenges that lie ahead, if you can name a few?
Yeah, no, of course. So the reason why we need the data fabric layer is that ever-growing complexity of data governance. The challenges I would like to address now is, okay, we will need the data fabric layer. If we want to implement it, what are the main topics we need to address before even starting? The one clear priority is data sources. We have a lot of sensors in mining companies. We already collect a lot of data, but still these are not always the most modern and reliable sources. So refurbishing all of these sensors, making sure that you have a coherent and clear data input stream is one of the first things we will do and are doing now in implementing the data fabric layer. The second part, which is not, I think, a surprise for most of the people, we were working in a very hostile environment in remote places, so connectivity still remains a big issue. However, nowadays there are a lot of solutions available on the market to solve that connectivity, and we are looking at some of them ourselves just to make sure that, okay, we can't lose connectivity over this period of time. We need to be redundant. How do we solve that? The next challenge I like to address is the fact that each one of our sites is very unique and has a kind of unique approach. So although data fabric layer will help you scale digital applications, there is a lot of cleaning to do on the metadata. And we need a lot of internal knowledge, somebody who knows our business inside out to make sure that every one of our data is structured in a way that makes sense for your company. Resources, human resources, yeah, it's a problem for everyone. We're in a market that you can't just find the right talent easily. We have huge difficulty reserving bandwidth from the necessary experts to make sure that our data model makes sense. And the last part is also not a surprising one, I think. Data fabric layer kind of brings a new way of working, going from putting everything on paper and spreadsheets and ways that people are used to working with operational data to automizing and making it available in another way. So that mind shift from going away from controlling everything yourself in spreadsheets to giving up some control but making it easier to use the data is also something we're heavily working on. So that are the main challenges that we have prioritized and are working on a daily basis to find a solution to implement Data Fabric Layer.
I see, I see. Well, definitely this spreadsheets, I guess it's familiar to everybody
No, absolutely.
working with the spreadsheets. So, in terms of the transformation, would you be able to tell us a bit how is your company approaching the transformation, this transformation?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Um, we like to use the approach of define, establish, engage, and experiment. So it's kind of think big, create a vision and a North Star, and then start small to get there. Um, when I start with define, couple of months, even a year ago, we started to think on, okay, what can data fabric layer mean to us? It's a concept, it's a broad definition. There are a lot of ways to approach it, but how we as Carmeuse would like to make it sense for us. Um, Okay, once we had defined that, we clearly worked on what is the urgency, and it resulted to be a high urgency, so high priority. Um, what resources would we be able to get, human resource again, and how does it fit into the vision of Carmeuse in general? And then we looked within our portfolio of operational sites. Okay, which one is a suitable site to test this the first time? Which business within the Carmeuse will we tackle first? So that's the defined part. And when we were sure about the urgency, what it meant for us, we were more thinking about, okay, how are we going to do this? To the established phase. So a high level approach on phasing, a high level approach on timeline, which technology partners do we need, which consultants do we need, which yeah, parties do we bring on board, and then also who in the business are our major stakeholders, who will need to be kept up to date, who will sponsor and support us if we have blockades. So that's the established phase. Then we went into like engaging the company. So we kept it like need to know company users first. Now we went to, okay, we know our story. We will communicate our vision and our approach to the necessary stakeholders, to the business, explain our perspective from business needs, but also from IT point of view, from organizational point of view, so that everyone knew what is coming and how we will approach it. And now we're in Carmeuse, we're in the experiment phase. So we kind of defined our POC, what are the first use cases we can test, and actually build quick value so that we keep that buy-in and we keep the support rolling. So we already bring very small use cases, make sure that everyone is aware of what positive we can bring, and then scale as we go. Yeah. So that's in high level our approach.
I see. Uh, Speaking about the transformation and data fabric layer, you have mentioned that the data fabric layer is human-centered development. But that would be my final question for today. Would you be able to elaborate a bit on that?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And thank you for asking that question because right from the beginning, as we start here, it's been a key central point of what we are doing. In the past, we implemented a lot of great digital initiatives, but user adoption and making sure that everyone is okay with your solution is a huge part of what we're doing. So right from the beginning, we set up a strategy on, okay, which applications do we connect first? And we did extensive research with our colleagues, like really going into interviews and workshops on where are your biggest frictions? What is for you an ideal solution in getting to data? What do you would like to see? What is the value we need to bring? And this approach falls under the umbrella of a subject of service design thinking. So it's bringing together human, digital, and physical interactions over time to create truly a differentiated experience for your employees so that they really feel that you're helping them right from the beginning. So delivering great support and creating the right buy-in and user adoption, it's one, if not the most challenging part of our digital solution implementation project. So we really use that service design thinking to understand people's needs and look holistically at human interactions. So I really want to emphasize that's kind of our guiding throughout with everything we do. That's on our approach, more on the data fabric layer itself. We are very aware that we need to bring that value quickly. And also, I already said that it's a difficult market. Getting the right talent and human resources in your company is challenging for everyone. And we get a lot of comments. We are sick of copy pasting data from one Excel sheet to another, typing in one application and going to another, having dashboards in Power BI in whatever solution, Grafana, or so unifying, getting rid of unnecessary data manipulations by everyone and letting them focus on their job instead of reporting and collecting data. That's something I discuss with them every day. And that's actually the part of my job I like. I was raised a project manager, so I'm not saying that I'm the digital expert here. I try to create a vision and make sure the project moves forward, and talking to people and making sure that our project serves the right purposes is something I love the most about my day when I wake up, get my first coffee, and get to the office.
Great, thank you very much. I really do appreciate our small chat here today. Thank you for answering our questions. And Ruben, we are very, very excited to see you in person on our summit and to hear more about Data Fabric Layer and to hear more of your thoughts. Thank you very much for being with us today.
No, it was a pleasure. Looking forward to the 8th of November.